This week, we sat down with Emilia Navedo. She is the owner of multiple businesses, and she has an absolutely amazing story. She's going to take us on the journey from growing up in Mexico, traveling to Milan, around the world, and ultimately making Sacramento, California her home. I know that everybody is going to appreciate her journey, her energy, and the story she has to tell. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of Tell Us Your Story.
Welcome to Tell Us Your Story. Join us as we step into the arena with business owners, leaders, and influencers. Hear their stories as they navigate challenges, opportunities, and victories on their journey to success. As Theodore Roosevelt once said, it is not the critic who counts, but the man or woman who is actually in the arena.
I was raised and born in Mexico City. I'm the youngest of the family. I have a brother and a sister, older. My sister is 5 years older. My brother is 2 years older. My parents and brother and siblings, they live there. They live their whole life there, even if I'm more an adventurous person and I move all over the world. They are all in Mexico. I have 6 nephews and nieces.
Wow.
Different ages, from 10 to 19.
And when you were growing up, were they all around?
They were all around, like my brother and my sister, yes, they're all around. And then I moved when I was 20, so there were no nephews and nieces there, right? Yet. So.
Oh, got it.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was, I grew there, went to Catholic school. And then
Catholic school all growing up?
All growing up.
Okay.
Since kindergarten. I started school at 2 years old.
Wow.
Because my brother and my sister were going to kindergarten. And I was like, Mom, I want to start going to school. And my mom was like, you're too young. And I was like, no, I want to. And then she tells me a story that when she left me the first day at school, I didn't even look at her. Just like go through it. I love school. And I loved school when I was growing up. I really love it.
Did you love school or did you love the social dynamic, or both?
I think both. I was a very good student. I was not really studying all the time. Like my sister was more, I need to study and I would need to prepare for the exam and all these things. I was not like that. I was just more like what you learn at school in the class is what you need to know for the exam. And I'm like, yeah, but you need to kind of study too at home, right? And I was like, yeah. And I was doing my homework, but I didn't really prepare that much for the exam because I was always thinking, yes, it's what you know.
So
right?
it just came easy to you
Yes.
compared to other people?
The only thing that I'm not good at it is history. Because I'm more a logical person more than learning dates and names and chronological things and all these things. For me, it's really hard. Even if I was trying to put, creating like a story more like a cartoon, right? Like my dad used to say, okay, let's study history and how did America got discovered and like Cinderella or whatever, right? And I was like, no, Dad, I can't. I just
Like,
can't.
not for me.
Not for me. History, that's not good for me, right? So I was more logical, right? So I didn't really needed to put a lot of effort in learning. So then I started going to, Catholic school. Then we changed schools 3 times because the dynamic of my house, my mom wanted to just, it was girls and boys. My brother was in another school. So she needed to kind of, driving in Mexico City is crazy. There's a lot of traffic. So she wanted to have like the 2 schools together. So she moved us to the school next door to my brother's school. And for me it was easy because I'm very social. And I was like, yes, making friends. And I was in 2nd grade when I moved the first time. And my sister was having trouble. She was in middle school. So she gets like, okay, I don't know, Mom, like making friends, right? And I was just totally like a fish in the water, right?
Easy transition for you.
Easy transition for me, right? And I was in that school until I finished middle school. And then I moved to the high school. It was more like a college type of dynamic in that high school. So you can pick your topics. So it was very different and it was good. I love it. It was very hard to just, it was a lot of work because I was not used to that. Like even if we were going to school in elementary and middle school from 7 to 2:30, in this one it was more open, right? You can do whatever. So I kind of like had to adapt on that, but it was great. I stopped doing sports.
You stopped doing sports? What sports were you playing?
I was playing tennis since I was 4 years old. I love tennis. I still love it. And when I started high school, I was so tired and so busy, and I was really good at tennis, like considering playing pro, right? In like big league, right? But I was tired. And then, of course, making friends and boys and all these things at 15.
You need time. You need time for that.
I cannot play tennis anymore, Dad. So.
And did that break his heart that you stopped playing tennis?
Not really. My parents, both of them, they are very. My dad is very strict on you have to be at work and get early and get there and do, right? But they are open. They were always open to us to say, I like this, I like that. My brother loves soccer and tennis, and my sister played tennis too. And they were very open. But they also were encouraging us to, okay, these are the options. These are the sports, available sports. We would play, the three of us play piano. So piano, right? And then I started also playing guitar. So, but they were open. We were asking things and they were very open. And my mom was a kindergarten teacher. So she had that also, how to, because I feel like when you are in kindergarten is when you are really molding yourself to be the person that you are going to be today, right? So she was very good at that. She was knowing how to, okay, this is your notebook at school. I was like 5 or whatever age I was, but this is your notebook. It has Emilia Navedo here. This is your name. I'm not going to be making your homework. It's your homework. I can help, but it's your responsibility. It's you that is going to get the 10 or the 4, right? So that's your grade.
Yeah.
So very supportive, but very expectations were
High
high.
expectations.
Yes. They were really high expectations, but at the same time, they teach us that even if we were very lucky to grow in a wealthy family and have everything that we wanted and travel with my parents a lot, they teach us how to work, right? They teach us that it's not just like, Dad, I want this and get it, right? Okay, you're getting a new car. My first car was when I was 16, but he picked the car, right? He's like, oh, this is what you get. And it was great. I was like, yes.
Sounds like a fair trade.
Yeah.
But then when I got 18, because I had good grades and I was working hard and I had a purpose, he said, what car do you want? And it was a new brand car. It was not used. So it was, okay, let's do it, right? So very supportive, but at the same time, they were also putting us limits and boundaries. And you have to do this and you have to work hard for what you want.
So as you were going through high school, did you ever get into any trouble or go off a path? Or was it just really good 4 years? Oh, they can't see your face. Maybe I tapped into something.
So, yes. So when I was in middle school, because I'm very social, I kind of like was a little bit of leader too. So we were just like putting things in the classroom and making the crazy, the teachers and all that. So I got suspended for a big thing, like one time, 1 week. But I remember that my mom, well, they were like the principal called my parents, right? Like, okay, you have to come and check But you did, right? So my daddy was like, oh, no, I'm out of town. I'm not coming. And mom was like, okay. So my mom went and they explained she didn't do this. And I mean, I put something in the classroom and then it became a bigger thing because everybody was scared and everything. So that's why they called her and then suspended 5 days. And they gave me, I remember, 100 math problems to solve.
Oh,
I love math.
you're like, this wasn't too bad.
This is great. Like, yeah, I won actually the 4th place national wise
Wow.
in algebra when I was in middle school. So for me, it was not really that bad. But I stay home, I do my exercises, great, and come back the next week. That was in middle school, just like that. And then we have when my parents separated when I was 17. So kind of like, okay, you have like a little bit of, right? But nothing crazy. I was still good grades, good at school, nothing crazy. But of course, it was a really hard period for us.
Are your siblings and you similar, or are you all kind of very different? Like, my brother was the troublemaker and like I was the good one, so I got, and we all do things but I get away with it. But I was just curious, were you all pretty much the same?
So my sister was very good her whole life. Okay, she was, and I think it was because he's the oldest, right? And she's 5 years older than me. So when I was growing up, I was closer to my brother because of the age, and then our friends were the same. So we were going out together, so all that. And my sister was kind of like always in a separate area, right? And she was calm and great grades, study all the time, right? And my brother and I, we were kind of like the troublemaker and just go out all the time, 4 times a week, coming back super late or early, if you want to call it like that. We were coming back, very early, and my sister tells my parents all the time, like, yes, these 2 kids are super young, and they are allowed to arrive even later than me. And it's like, yeah, but you are with your boyfriend; they are together. So, but yes, that like, and my brother is very, very calm. He has this bubbling energy too. But he's very calm, even as a boy. It's very calm. And my sister is social when she knows you, right?
Yeah,
and she
that's
can
how
be
I am.
very
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
She's very, very funny, but she needs to know you. My brother is very funny, whoever, and I'm like just like that, right? Like, you know me.
So when you were going through high school, what was your dream? Did you have a path that you wanted to take? Was it school? Was it travel? Was there a career?
So when I was in high school, my dad is an architect. So we all have these, and my mom is very artistic too. So I had that. All the time I was thinking about, yes, I want to be an architect and I love the blueprints and I love these things. But I didn't see myself managing men in the construction, right? Like telling the painter you have to do this or that. I didn't really feel it because I was like, okay, maybe as a woman it's not, and maybe it's a culture thing, right? Because I'm doing it today, right? But it's but I was thinking about that, and I did the personality and skills test that they do. And basically it came that you can do anything you want, but not history or lawyer or all these things. I could be a doctor, or even I was considering, because in high school I was very good at physics and mechanics. So I wanted to be also in that path. But again, I didn't see myself like wearing this helmet and all these things. I was like, no. So I ended up doing graphic design.
Going into college or in high school?
Oh, well, in high school, we have the last year of high school, we can pick topics, like general topics. So I was definitely in the area of the artistic.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then when you went into did you go to college in Mexico City?
Yes, I went to, we don't really, it's more university because you go straight to the top, like straight to what you want to study. We don't have the bachelor's in. I went directly to graphic design.
Got it. Okay. And so how long was that? Where did you stay in the graphic design?
3 years. So 3 years until one crazy night I was with friends and we were thinking, oh, we need to put like a business or something. And we came with a fashion model agency. Why not? Like out of the blue, right? So we created that, and I was still studying, and they were doing one, I think he was in economy, and the other one was in administration, something like that. And we started the business around 2 boys and myself, and we started doing advertising with magazines, and we created all these, recruit all the models.
Wow.
So you just created your own business.
Yes.
Your third year in school. You're like, this is
Yes, I was like 18, 19 or something. And we created this business. And we started doing it and doing events and all fashion shows. And it was very fun. So that's when it came Italy, right? Because then it's like, okay, I want to be a fashion photographer. And I love it. So then I checked where, right? So I went to New York and checked in New York. And then it's like, no, I'm going to Milan, fashion industry there, great. So I moved.
You just picked up and moved.
Yeah, this is the adventure part. Were you afraid of that? How did your family take that? What was that decision like?
So I was not afraid. I'm very like, okay, let's do it.
Did you go with anybody, or were you on your own?
Well, a friend was already living there, but he was doing his thing, right? But I just moved. They didn't say, okay, let's take you there. It's like they left me at the airport with my 3 bags. They wanted, because my parents, like, Mexican culture is very protective, very we call it muégano, that is everybody wants to be together, like family, right? And I'm kind of like so like, no, I'm going to go by myself, arrive to a hotel, and then I will figure out where I'm going to live. The school started in October. I left in August. So to have time to acclimate, I learned Italian like 2 months, like, how are you? Good, right? Ciao. That's it. I moved.
And so what happened to the business that you guys had started? Did that dissolve?
Yeah, we dissolved it.
Okay.
And it was just like the start of something bigger, right?
And so at that point, is this now your dream, is to be a fashion photographer?
Yes, at that point is like, this is what I want. I love photography, and this is where I have to be.
So it sounds like such a fantasy. People think about, I'm just going to move to Milan and I'm going to go be a photographer. And you did it. Like, it's very movie-like. So were there any bumps in the road those first few months? Or do you just roll with the punches?
I'm a true believer that, I mean, life can, like, it's like sailing, right? You just have to move with the wind and just take it the way that it is. You can have storms and you can have a great weather, but you just move, right? And of course there were challenges. All the time there's challenges in everything that you do. I remember arriving there and I booked my hotel for a month. And then, no, for 2 weeks first. 2 weeks. And I was sure, like, of course, in 2 weeks, I'm going to find an apartment, right? Yes, at 20 years old, of course. And then, I mean, I didn't think about, like, okay, you are not Italian. You don't have a guarantor in Italy. You don't have a bank account in Italy. So obviously, nobody wanted to rent me an apartment, right? So it was really a challenge. I didn't know. I mean, I traveled with my parents the first time to Europe when I was 8 or 9. So I kind of like knew Europe and the areas, but you don't know where is a nice neighborhood or not to pick up, like to rent an apartment, right? So I was like, okay, I guess tourist area in the middle of the city, so I'm safe. And of course, it was expensive. And my dad was like, what are you doing? I was like, Dad, I don't know the area. I don't know the neighborhoods. I need to pick like something safe, right? So I found an apartment finally. We have to pay a whole year of rent.
Oh, wow.
Because nobody knew me, right? And this is like 25 years ago. So it was not really that easy to
there's no internet.
Yes, no
or
internet
just coming out.
or Google, you know. So it was a challenge for sure. But the 2 weeks, of course, became a month or something in the hotel. And I remember that the guy in the hotel was super nice, but he's like, we can rent you the whole month, but there's 2 days of that month that it's all booked out. We don't have a room. So you have to find another place. And I was like, like where? I don't know anybody. That's a super challenge, right? So I left my bags there. And then I found another hotel for 2 nights. And, you know, it was more expensive, but okay, whatever. And then I started walking around and meeting people and talking because I didn't know like really good Italian. I didn't speak Italian at all. So I needed to before starting the school, right? Because the school was not in English. It was pure Italian.
Oh my.
Oh, so you get there in August, school starts in October in a different language. Wow. Okay.
This is so different. I would be completely like, I would never do that. That's just not who I am. It's always fascinating. You're like, I'll just figure it out. Let me just get there and we'll learn as we go.
And of course, Italian and Spanish, they're very similar. They're romantic languages. So you can kind of pick up the words. But still, school is technical stuff. In Italian, right?
Had you already, what about English? Like growing up?
Yes.
Any languages?
English.
Okay.
So English, we normally at school, we have, in private schools, we have half days in English, half days in Spanish.
Okay.
So it was easy, right?
I think that helps. I would assume that helps a little bit. You probably pick up different languages easier then. Yes,
but in Italy, like at that time, nobody... It was not really English at all, right?
Yeah.
So it was like, they probably prefer that I speak Spanish than English.
Yeah.
So it was learning from going to the grocery store and buying a tomato, right? Everything. So it was very challenging in that part. Starting school, it was also a little bit hard because my class we're 15 Italians, right? Oh, and there was one Korean guy. That's it. And Italian. And I was like, okay. Right? And then it started. So it was great. I love it. All of it. 3 years. The last year they put me on they partner you with magazines to get like a internship. So I started working on the Condé Nast, which is have Vogue, Amour, and big magazines. So I did my internship there, and then I got hired for another year, and then I decided just to be a freelance.
And then you got hired as a photographer?
As a photographer.
So you're living your dream now.
I was living my dream. I was doing photography. I was also editing the magazines and like all the photos and the text, and it was very fun.
And you were loving it?
And I was loving it. and it was great, right? Then I did a master in photography because the fashion styling was 3 years, and then I did a master in photography. Like I was working too and everything. And it was great. It was a great life. Full of life, full of passion.
Question, are you dating during this time or are you single?
I was dating and then single. My personal life in the romantic side, it's been dating, and then I moved, so then I have to find a new boyfriend, right?
So career is more focused, living life.
Yes, I was like all my life, like living life, meeting people, and of course dating, but then nothing really serious, and just living and career and friends and making all these connections and traveling a lot, because Europe, that's the great thing about Europe. Like you can take a train or a car and in 1 hour you're in another country, right? And it's amazing. And you just the weekend and you're in Paris, and that's great, right? So I had a smart car, a tiny little car, and I was driving all over with my tiny little car, and I love it. It was just amazing, just being there. It was a challenge communicating with my family because we didn't have the technology that we have today.
Yeah.
Right? We didn't have FaceTime, we didn't have WhatsApp, so it was for sure a challenge trying to call mom, right? Like I call mom and dad once a week with a card, and you scratch the number and ding, ding,
Yeah,
you have 5 minutes
Oh.
and that's it, right? So I'm okay, I'm alive, bye, right?
And did you ever get homesick?
I remember one time being sick, like physically sick, and that's when I normally tend to have like, oh mom, where are you, right?
Yeah.
But not really, because I travel, like I went to Mexico. I was going to Mexico maybe twice a year, staying there for a month.
Okay.
Okay, and they visit me a couple of times. So I didn't really feel that okay, I need to see my family or my parents. Or I talked to, like, I was able to talk to my grandmother a lot. I was very close to her, so I used to call her and then spend hours with her on the phone, and that just probably make me go through the whole.
Yeah. So you're incredibly independent. So did you ever get like worried or scared when you were traveling? Did it ever cross your mind, or are you just one that we're going here and you don't even think about all of the outside?
No, I never get scared about, but when I take a decision and make something like, okay, I'm going to do this, it's always, I mean, I'm adventurous, but I'm always thinking, okay, if I'm going to this town, I'm going to stay in this hotel. I'm never backpack, like, I don't know where I'm going to sleep. No, I kind of like, no, plan a little bit. So it's on a safe, I'm responsible. Yeah, I'm kind of crazy in the adventurous side, but I'm kind of responsible in the, yes, I'm going to be safe, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not, I don't tend to do risky things, or I follow the law and everything. So it's nothing crazy. Like when I was traveling, it was when I was 20, right? Like I have friends that they were just cuckoo and...
It's so interesting. So take the law aside from that, that's a different topic. But most people that listen to you are going to think you're incredibly big risk taker. I wouldn't just get on a plane and go to Milan or any country for that matter. It's a massive decision for most people. Big risk taker. So...
Oh, I think there's ownership in it. I'm like going back to when you said like your mom was teaching you like, okay, this is your life, you have control over it. So I think that's what I'm seeing is like, yes, you're taking these massive risks, but you also understand that it's your, responsibility and your life, and you have to be careful in what you're doing and all of that. So there's something behind that risk that I see in you. At least you're that logical. Maybe that's what you said is like, that's always there. So, okay. So you're living this dream. You're this photographer. You're traveling all over. Are you feeling like something is next, or what are you thinking at that point? Like that was going to be forever?
So everything was perfect until my sister got pregnant the first time. So Emilia was born, and I was in Mexico. I was still traveling on my thing, but I went to Mexico when Emilia was born in August. And then the next time, it was very hard to leave. Because he was a tiny baby, and I was just like, I was holding him, and I was like, I don't want to go, right?
Oh, you fell in love instantly.
Yes. And I was inside when my sister had it. I was with her and the husband too, but we were both inside in the room. And and I feel that connection probably. I don't know. I was just like, no, I don't want to go, right? But I had a life. So I left. They came back for Christmas. So I saw him 6 months later. And it was good. Everything was good. Went back. My life was great. And my sister got pregnant again a year later. And I remember my mom sent me a video of Emilio. He was probably like 14, 15 months. And he asked, where is your aunt? They call me Mile in Mexico. So where is Mile, right? And Emilio just picked up a photo, pointed at me, and just made like, who knows, right? I don't know. But she is my aunt, and I don't know where she is. And it just created a big impact. Like, it hurt. It was like, I don't know. I don't want to be the aunt that nobody knows where she is. Nobody knows. Like, nobody is connected to her, right? So I was like having all these emotions, and I'm living the great life. But then I got homesick. I was like, I don't want that. I need my family. But I needed to have a plan, because in Mexico, the fashion is not really a big thing. I was like, as a fashion photographer in Mexico, I'd probably not be successful. So I decided to, okay, let's figure out. So I bought a baby furniture franchise, Bivel. It was a French franchise. I interviewed, like, it was like in 3 months. Like, I met the guy, the owner. He interviewed me. Great. Let's meet in Mexico. And I was like, wait, I can't go now. But he's
So
like,
you were in Milan. He's in Mexico.
This guy was in Paris.
Oh.
So I traveled to Paris. He met, like, interviews, big, like, questionnaires in France. Oh, because by the way, I decided, like, after maybe 2-3 years in Italy, I was like, okay, I'm fluent in Italian now. I need another thing. So I started French. So I was able to communicate with them and everything. And then they just picked me and they said, like, yes, let's do it. Open in Mexico City. And I was like, great, Dad, I'm coming back. So left my apartment, packed my stuff, sell stuff. Of course, big emotions with my friends.
Yeah.
I've been there like for 8 years or so. And it's like a lot, right? Okay, let's move. So
How old were you at this time when you were moving back?
28.
Okay, so I was thinking still under 30. Okay.
Yes. So move back and then start again.
So I'm fascinated. So at 28, so you've been there 8 years. You're going to come back home. Did you break anybody's heart leaving? Was there anybody serious at that time, or
no serious? No, because probably serious. I will still be there, right?
Okay.
Probably a couple of break hearts, but nothing crazy.
Not for you. Your heart wasn't broken.
Yeah, it's just like healable. Exactly.
And I think, I mean, everything, like, I believe that we all have, there's a book already written for us. Like, our story is already there, right? And every decision that we make, it's in the right moment and for a reason. And I was not dating, so it was perfect. The timeline and the time, it was just perfect.
It's fantastic philosophy. So you moved to Mexico, moved back home. Do you move back in with your family, or do you get your own place?
So I moved back with Mom. And then I realized that living alone, it was just totally hard for me. And it was hard for her too, because I was like, Mom, the TV is too loud. And she's like, I can't listen. I was like, it's too loud. Right? So, or moving things in the kitchen, or we were just getting very frustrated, right? So I was like, okay, I need to buy a place. And so I found a place, and I'm very visionary, like also for buying a place. I bought it in a place that now nobody was thinking that it's going to be great, and it was just in the middle of nowhere. And now is the greatest area to live in Mexico City.
Wow.
Right? So I bought it at a good price, moved there. My family was like, you're crazy, but okay. And and start my journey with opening the franchise, the baby store. But it was going to take a while, so I needed a job. So I found a job in a magazine, the airplane magazine, the Aeromexico. So I was a photographer and an editor there for a year while I was preparing my journey with the baby franchise. And then I opened. It was great. And
tell us about what the franchise is. So what do you do there?
So the franchise, the concept was a Lego concept. You were buying pieces of wood to build whatever you wanted. Okay, it was great because then you could use it. Maybe the crib could be a desk, or it could be a toy box, or whatever. You have pieces of wood. So the design was very different. And I think that's when I started to listen to my customers really good in what they wanted, in what they think they needed, because I was interviewing the kids with the budget, the parents' budget, right? So they were my customers, my little customers, and they were saying these stories about like, yes, I want to be on a jungle or the space, and these are my favorite colors, but I need a tiny area because I love to do puzzles, or I like to read with my dad at night. So creating this space and this house, their house inside their home, right? So it was just a world, a different world.
And so you got to use your creative side, but also sounds like you're working with higher income individuals. Like this is a extra, like building this out and having it. Was it expensive for those that were coming to you?
Yes, it was very expensive because they were manufactured in France, okay, still. But let's say a newborn baby room was around maybe 50 grand. Or
50 grand?
20 years or however long
like
ago.
20 years ago.
That's incredibly high end.
Definitely, yeah. Okay, so I can see why you got into this. Was it just you? Were you employing people?
So yes, so at the beginning, well, it was me, and I have like a manager, and then I hire another designer, and we were two designers, and I love it. And I got passionate about it, and I loved what I was doing, and I was working 7 days a week, and my dad was like, why are you working so much? And I was like, Dad, you work so much. You teach me that. You love your job. I love my job, and I'm there for my customers.
And I would imagine at that price point, you're making a lot of money. Yeah? Fair, but for me, it's never about the money. Yeah.
That's been my career, right? Like my path. Yes, of course we need money to live, right? But it's always about passion. It's always about loving what you do, finding the right solution for the customer. Like the magazine, and now the babies, like the parents. And it was not just about like, yeah, this is a crib and that's it. It was designed for a specific family, for a specific baby, which makes it special.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. The way I see it, though, is the money gave you the freedom to be that way, because you weren't worried from paycheck to paycheck. You were able to put your time in to your customers, which is a great feeling to have.
Yes, and it was just the way that it was going. It was just great, and it was inside a mall, the biggest mall in Mexico City, and the high income people. It was just great life. Everything was great. And then my dad came one day, and he's, the flooring tile industry in Mexico is booming. Okay, Dad, that's great. Not for me. And he's like, no, you need to do it. And I was like, okay. I said, like, Dad, but my baby furniture. And he's like, yeah, I love your baby furniture. That's great. But you can keep doing that for hobby. But just the tile. And as an architect, he's like, the tile. And I was like, okay, Dad, what do we do? He's like, well, just get into the tile. And I was like, okay. So we start like, inside my store, we put like a corner of tile and all that. And we start a business for tile.
Essentially, I would admit, you're selling to the same customers maybe as they're building out their rooms and their homes.
Kind of, but there was also people just coming for tile, right?
So Dad was right.
Dad is right all the time. It's always he's right. So at one point, the baby furniture didn't make any sense anymore. And it was also at the same time where the franchise in France was closing. So everything was just, again,
Timing,
right? So they close, they release me and they said, like, if you want to keep doing it, you can keep doing it. You just have to fabricate and manufacture in Mexico. But everything was timing. And then I just started doing tile and more tile. Then I traveled a few times to Italy, checking with manufacturers there. And it grows so fast that I lost that passion. Because at the beginning with the tile, I was passionate too about it. And I was, okay, Natasha, I'm going to help you. This is for your bathroom. This is for the living room. This is great, right? But then with employees and growing, I just lost the passion about just doing paperwork and admin stuff and all these things.
You're managing the business versus the creative part.
Yes. And I like it, but I'm more creative, right? In one of my trips to Italy, I met somebody. He was living in Hong Kong. I was living in Mexico. And so then he came to Mexico. He moved back to Sacramento because he was from here.
So when you say you met somebody, you were dating?
We would start dating.
Okay. And so long distance relationship.
Like for a short time, because then this is 2014. So I was like, okay, what do we do, right? So then he said, okay, come to Hong Kong. Let's put together my stuff. I moved back to the United States. And I was like, okay, great, closer. So moved to Hong Kong for 6 months, 4 months. And then he moved back to the United States. I was living back and forward here in Mexico City in 2015. Then he moved, 2016. 2015 was kind of like the transition of moving back from Asia to here. And then 2016, we were back and forward here. 2017, he moved to Mexico City. And it was great. Everything was perfect. My life was great again.
And you have your tile business still.
I have my tile business in Mexico. I have a great boyfriend. And then at the end of 17, he got a job in Thailand. So let's move to Thailand. With a business in Mexico. And I was going back and forward. Like 3 months in Thailand, 1 month in Mexico, and it was very hard. And then that's when, at the end of 2018, Floor Coverings International arrived. I interviewed, I did all the process, and then they said, you need to be part of this company. And I was like, great, Chris, let's move back, right?
And that's in Sacramento, or Northern California.
Yes, they told me that I could pick. They gave me some options, and I said, like, no, Sacramento, because I mean he's from here. It just makes sense, right? Yeah. His family was here, and it's like it just makes sense. So they were in Granite Bay, so I was like, okay, Granite Bay, perfect territory, money, excellent. And then I just started. Well, I signed. Chris was scared, so he just stayed there. So he's like, okay, timeline, just path. This is what it is. I'm already in. I love the concept. I love the company. I'm just going to do it for me, right?
So you're keeping your business in Mexico. and you're starting a new one in California. So you like building things.
I like building things. And I like the challenges, I think, also, right? For me, it was, okay, let's do it. It's great. And it's where it's taking me. I'm sailing there and I'm moving there, and life is taking me there for some reason, right? Chris was not a part of the picture anymore because he didn't want to come. And so I was like, okay, we're friends, great, perfect. So then I started this journey with my dog and my bag, and let's move to Grand Bay, right? And I did it. And I started, at the beginning was hard because I didn't know anybody in the territory, right? I didn't know, no friends at all. His family moved to Atlanta, so I was by myself. Doing marketing and all these things that you have to start doing when you start a business. It was tough, and then COVID hit it.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a great year for me because people were home.
Yeah.
They didn't really spending in anything else, so they were doing all home improvements and things. So probably they were my best years in the company.
Yeah. Wow. COVID created a lot of opportunities for those in the industry. People were remodeling their homes, their backyards, everything. So you have the greatest year in COVID, and then coming out of that, still doing the same thing, and you're traveling back and forth to Mexico.
Traveling back and forward to Mexico, doing the same thing, enjoying life, loving what I do, finding the right solution for my customers, talking, not just, some people call and say, like, I want a hardwood, but sometimes it's not really what you want, it's what you need. So I like to incorporate also the interior design. That's what I bring to your home, not just a mobile showroom full of samples. I bring knowledge, passion, and honesty. Yeah,
I would say, sitting here listening to your story, which is absolutely fascinating to me. I think you're an incredible risk taker, an incredible person. I would imagine you just bring a vision that most people don't. So as I think about your photography career, and then you think about the fashion career, and then you think about the tile business and the baby business, all of these different experience that you have when you walk into a home and you look at it, you're seeing it through a different lens. Are you conscious of that? Do you see it through that art lens of, yeah, I have all of these different things I've done that I can help you with this home?
I don't think about it when I do it, but I know that that's what I probably give my customers, right? And they probably feel it. I tell a little bit about my story when I'm with them. Like, I have background in flooring for X years. I have an interior design, and that's it, right? And they were like, oh, perfect, right? Because I don't know what I'm doing. So they feel more comfortable and they trust me because of that knowledge and that experience that I bring into the home. But I never thought about, like, the way that you're putting it. I just do it, right?
So when you're not a creative person and you see somebody that can, like, see a space or use that experience or has been across different industries, I think there's an appreciation for it. Like, that's so far from what I think. That's probably why your customers even look at you. Like you said, maybe they start somewhere thinking, oh, I need, whatever, this wood floor, but you might, change what they really end up getting.
If you came into my home and you said, my time, whether it was in Milan or Paris or Thailand or Hong Kong or Mexico City, I've put together all of these different aspects of the different cultures, and I'd love to share. I'd be like, do your thing.
Pick what you want. You tell me. What, that's true when you put it like that.
Such a background.
Yeah, and I think it's more about connecting with people, right? Like, when you arrive, I try to connect with the customer and make them feel comfortable with me and sharing me. Also the lifestyle, like what I was doing with the kids, right? Like, what do you like? What do you need in your room? With the customer today is like, okay, what's your lifestyle? Like, what does it look like? Do you have grandkids? Do you have children? Do you have pets? What is it? Because that's what makes me decide what type of flooring you need. Not because you want it. It's like, if you have a pool in the backyard, we might not use hardwood because the water and all these things, right? So that's exactly what I bring into the home.
I absolutely love it. So with where you're at today, and I know you have a staple question. Like, I can't even imagine where you see yourself. Where's the wind gonna blow you?
I think that's the point. She doesn't know, but she'll follow.
Do you have is there another dream? Is there another step?
So I actually, I love my job. I'm passionate about it. And I just certified in life coaching a couple of weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Wow, that's awesome.
So I don't know when is he going to take me. My mom asked me, when are you going to do that? You don't have time. And I was like, Mom, there's always time for, like, you put your priorities. You can always find time to do things, right? I don't know when the wind is taking me. I just enjoying life. I enjoy the people that are now in my life. And I don't regret anything. That's the main thing. I don't regret any decisions that I make, even with all the challenges that I've been through. I just love my life and all the people that are part of my life. Even I keep in touch with my Italian friends, my French friends. Like, it's just great, right? Even if it's been challenging in a lot of moments, right? But I just love it. I don't know where I'm going. It's just, if you want to say it that way, I just go. I just do it and I feel it and I believe in God. So I just trust that and I just do it.
So where did life coaching come from? We'll probably have to do a whole nother episode on it, but where did that come from?
Yes, probably we'll have to do another episode on that. It just started when part of a BNI, okay? Part of it was a little bit of BNI. And I have a couple of friends that they are coaches too. And when I talk to them, like in a dinner or just as a friend, they're like, have you considered being a coach? Like, not really. I'm just doing a great floor. Like, I'm the flooring lady, just that. And they're like, you have that. You have that. You have it. You have to explore that. And I never thought about it. But I have this feeling, and for a few months, I've been feeling that I have something more to give. That I want to give and I want to help. And I didn't even know how, right? I was thinking like, yes, I'm helping people with my flooring, right? Mm-hmm. But I always felt like I need more and I need to give more. And that's why I decided to do it, because it just came into in my Facebook, came something from a friend. He opened a life coach institute and I was like, wow. Timing.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I think you'll be successful at anything you do. You've proven that over and over. But one thing that I think you bring to this, or that other people don't, to the coaching piece, is that people get caught up in all of the things that could go wrong, which you don't seem to have that in you. Like you're focusing on the positive, where the wind is going to take you, and yes, you're going to have challenges, and you face those challenges. Where I think most people look at the challenges, especially when starting a business, and they're like, oh, all of these things could go wrong, so I'll wait. And they never get to do it because they're so worried, and that's not your makeup. So I think like giving that energy to people, I think it's a great opportunity for you. So I want to make sure we do get an opportunity to ask our staple questions as we're coming up on the close. So, and I'm really excited to ask this question of you. So how... not just work, but life in general. So how do you define success? What's your definition of success?
I think success is more about not know where you're going, but who are going with. Like all the people around you, all the love that you have, all the friendship. It's not about the job that you have today. For me, it's not really that. Yes, but like I have customers that they became friends. Because yes, I tell them all the time, guys, I don't want you to call me again to change the floors. This is a one time. Like I want to come back and just have a cup of coffee with you guys, because it's that, right? Because I'm honest. but I create all these, like the success for me is being everything that I get, all the love that I get from people and that I give, because I have that. It's for me, it's the relationships in life and the people around you, like my family and friends.
I love it. Such a good answer. He asked that question to almost every guest, and they're always slightly different, but that was, I feel like, a different take of it, which is really cool. So my staple question, and I know you have no regrets, but I'd like to take it back a little bit. So knowing what you know now, being who you are, and being at this point in life, if you could talk to your 30-year-old self or 25-year-old self and give yourself a piece of advice, what would it be?
Just trust your heart. Trust your heart and God, and everything will be fine. Keep doing it, and don't be scared, because God is with you, and you just have to trust in yourself.
I love it.
Good answer. Too, yeah.
Good answer.
So before we say our thank you, is there anything you want to share with the listeners? Anything you want to say?
I think I said enough.
Yeah.
But thank you for having me. That was great, and hope people like my story.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. You have such a just energy about you, positive energy about you. I love it.
Thank you.
We talk a lot about people who have a light in them, and you are definitely one of those people. So thank you so much for being willing to share your story, and just for bringing that positive energy and the light.
Oh, thank you.